Everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. I hope these little Sunday night info videos have been somewhat helpful to some people. Been kind of fun doing them. I hope that hope they're beneficial to everybody else too. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Craigslist, what I do, and how I use it, and maybe some tips for you guys to make Craigslist a little more successful for you. So that's kind of the focus for tonight. As always, if there's any questions, don't be afraid to throw them up there, and I'll sure do my best to answer them if there's something I can help you with. So that's kind of the topic for tonight. Next week, I think we'll maybe start talking about a little bit of print. There is still some print advertising out there. I don't really do much of it, but I think we'll worry about maybe working on some print, discussing some print advertising for next week. So anyway, getting into it tonight, Craigslist. About anybody with an old car knows what it is. They've been on it, they've used it, they've looked at it, things like that. How do I use Craigslist? I am all over Craigslist. As of right now, I am in about 385 different markets on Craigslist. And it's a ton of work. Craigslist is not simple to bulk list in. And that's by design, so people don't abuse the system by just, putting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ads of the same thing out there. So it is a lot of work to do that. I've got a list that I work through every day, every month, or every 2 months actually. I'm on a 60-day cycle with Craigslist. And I update the ad every 60 days. So when I run an ad in your market, it will have updated information and a new set of pictures. Approximately 45 to 50, maybe 55 days later, I will repost that ad with new copy and new pictures of updated inventory, new stuff that come in, things like that. I try to keep it different and interesting when I repost in your market. And a lot of people have asked me, how do I do that? How do you get away with that? Craigslist won't let me do that. I pay for it. It's paid advertising. I buy every one of those ads. And Craigslist will let you do that as long as you're paying for it. I mean, I've had people really get mad at me, and they've sent me nasty emails and stuff about how I can get away with it. I'm not getting away with anything. I'm paying for it because the people like me that pay for it is the reason that a lot of people get to use it for free. So that's a big myth and kind of an issue that I've run up against. Is how do I get away with posting that much of similar type ads? It's because they're paid ads. I pay for every single one of them. So that's how I do it, and that's how I have such a broad net that tries to cover a pretty good chunk of the country. And by updating it, I try to keep new information. So when you see the ad, it's not the same ad. New info and new pictures, so it's different. And that way, a lot of people who don't have Facebook can still keep up with it. If they know that ad's going to pop up and they know it's different every time after they've seen it a couple of times, they'll start watching it because they know that I'm going to, make it different with new information. And maybe something that they need came in over that 60 days. So that's how I work Craigslist from my end of it. Now, how can Craigslist better benefit you as a user looking for parts? And like I brought it before, if you got any questions, throw them up there. I haven't seen anything pop up yet, so if there have been any questions, they're not popping up yet. So throw them up there if you've got something. My biggest problem with Craigslist is a lot of the people who find me off of Craigslist don't know what they're looking for. If they have an idea, I can help them. But sometimes there's just nothing I can do because what they want does not exist. I had a call last week, and the guy was adamant about it. He needed parts for his 67 Monte Carlo. And I told him that didn't exist, and he said, well, he's having a lot of trouble finding parts for one. I said, well, I can understand why, because they don't exist. But he was adamant that his title said 1967 Monte Carlo. So, there's nothing I can do to help you with that because I don't even know what you've got. So, be sure to know what you're looking for and have all your details ready. And it brings us back to what I talk about in every video. Just pick up the phone and call me so we can have that conversation. All the time I get guys that call me, I need a front clip for this particular vehicle. So I said, okay, you need an entire front clip. You need fenders, hood, grill. But well, no, I've got a hood. Okay, then you don't need a whole front clip. Do you need a grill, bumper? No, I've got a grill. Okay, that's why I need those specifics. So that's why all my Craigslist ads have phone numbers. If you're looking at something on Craigslist and it's got a phone number, unless it just absolutely says do not call, it's a lot better to try to call somebody and try to have that conversation than it is to try to do it over emails or texts. And that's why I've given up on emails and texts. I'm to the point now I don't even read them. I bulk delete the emails. I check the boxes and delete them. One, they're never clear. Two, a lot of times that's where you'll get your trolls at who just want to complain about something. So it's not worth the time or the effort for me. But that's why my phone number's on there, and it just says call me. We can have that conversation. I know what you need. I know what I'm looking for when I go to the yard because you've told me exactly what you need. After we've had that 30-second or minute conversation, we're on the same page. So that's the biggest thing. Something else to keep in mind, regardless of how you contact somebody off of Craigslist, whether you do call them or email or text, be sure to be specific about what you're asking about. Unless you know that person only has one part on Craigslist or one ad on eBay or on Craigslist or one vehicle on Craigslist, you have to be specific about it. What happens when you're not specific is you sound exactly like a scammer. If you say, oh, I'm interested in your vehicle, I'm interested in your car, I'm interested in your part, that's what scammers tell you. So when you're vague, it makes you look like a scammer. And that's the other thing about a phone call is scammers will not call you direct. They will text you and they will email you and offer you a Nigerian bank draft, but they're not going to call you. That's another reason I don't do it, is it just eliminates that. So when you're vague and not specific when you're contacting somebody through Craigslist, that's how you sound. So the best thing I can suggest to anybody is, like I said, be specific and try to be clear when you contact somebody off of Craigslist. It makes you look legitimate, and it also makes you look like you're a serious buyer. If you have a ton of questions, and this falls back on the people listing stuff on Craigslist also. If you have a lot of questions because they have a very unclear ad, the best thing to do is try to get a phone number. You know, if it just has email, say, hey, I'm interested in, in the Chevy pickup you had listed. I've got a bunch of questions. Is there a way I can talk to you? Because if you call or if you email or text a huge list of questions, that's a hassle too. Because then if it's somebody like me, then I have to physically stop what I'm doing and sit there and text you back for the next 2 minutes. And that's not very time efficient either. So if somebody has a very vague ad, and I know that happens all the time. I see them too. And you wonder how in the world they can have something listed for sale because they have 3 pictures that you can't hardly tell what it is anyway and no description. So as always, try to be clear and try to get a contact number if you have a ton of questions and you're seriously interested. It's the best way to have that conversation. There's a lot of people that put stuff on Craigslist that you wonder if they even care if they sell it because they're so vague and you really don't even know what you're looking at. That's going to happen. There's no way you can change it. If it's something you're interested in, just do your best to be clear when you contact people and try to be able to open up those lines of communication to find out more about it. So that's some of the stuff I have for tonight. Still don't have any questions, so either nobody's interested or I've been really clear. So I don't know which one it is. But like I said, Craigslist can be a great tool. But there's ways to use it and to try to make it beneficial to you. And that's what I've had to do with the way I've built my listings up, as far as to be in that many markets and to be on a regimented, basically I'm on a regimented schedule. I've got to be through those 8 pages of Craigslist ads at the end of 60 days or I'm behind schedule. And yes, it's a ton of work. I work on it almost every single night. But I get phone calls off of it, and granted, a lot of them aren't answerable. But I do sell some stuff, and there's a lot of people who are just thrilled that they found me, and I was able to help them out, and everybody's happy. So that's how I use it. I hope this was beneficial. I hope it will you guys learn something out of the deal. That's the only reason I'm doing this stuff. Trying to be clear on what I'm seeing on my end can help some of you guys find stuff for your project, whether it's from me or from somebody else. It's just all tips to help make this hobby work better for everybody. And obviously from my end, I see so much of the other side that the average guy doesn't see, who's just looking for a specific taillight or a grill or a fender. So anyway, that's what I have for tonight. Still don't have any questions, so I guess we'll get ready to wrap things up. Unless they're not feeding, but so far we haven't seen anything. So next week we'll talk about print a little bit. There is still some print out there. Obviously, tons of automotive hobbyist magazines just got killed within the last 60 days. A lot of really well-known common names are gone and are no longer in print. So we'll touch base on that a little bit, and we'll touch base on some of the other stuff out there. Obviously, Hemmings is still a big one. And a lot of other magazines. Old Cars Weekly still has classified ads in it. Autobuy, Auto Traders, primarily all classic and special interest stuff. So we'll touch on some of that stuff next week. Some tips on some of that, some of the stuff I've tried, some of the results I've had, and things like that. So anyway, thanks for being here tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Got any questions, just give me a call. The number's on the page, 620-786-4428. And we will see you tomorrow night on Nobody's Show, on the Nobody Show page. Or if you're going to be in Wichita, Kansas, Friday or Saturday at the annual Sunflower Swap Meet for charity, I will be there also. So be sure to stop by and say hi if you're going to be hanging out at the swap meet. And I'm right by the concession stand, right as there's kind of a pinch point where you go between two halls. And I'm right there, right next to the concession stand. So I know anybody that's going to be at the swap meet will be at the concession stand at some point. So be sure to stop by and say hi. Be glad to meet. Be great to meet any of you guys and meet face to face. So anyway, got any questions, give me a call. If not, we will see you on Nobody's Show tomorrow night, or hopefully maybe see a few of you at the swap meet. Thanks for watching, everybody.